Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of I Must Ask You a Question. Today, I have the great honor and pleasure of talking to Mr. Paul Hendricks, who is a veteran of 20 years in the Armed Forces, I believe Air Force, and who is now the president and director of the Veterans Center of North Texas. So how are you doing today, Mr. Paul?
Well, Matt, thank you very much for having us today, and I am just doing wonderful, and you are adding to the graciousness of the day. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. And first of all, thank you for your service, for the many years that you served our country and everything that you did. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Paul. A little bit about, your military background, you personally. Let everybody know.
All right. Well, this is always an honor to provide that background. First off, my wife and I are both from Southern California. That's where we were raised. And I went to a local college there in San Diego, actually. Got drafted into the Army and eventually went into the Air Force. And in the Air Force, I was in the Air Force for 20 years as an officer. Flew B-52 bombers in Vietnam and did some procurement work. So I worked in the intelligence community. And at the end of my career, I was on the developmental team for the B-1B bomber. So 30 or 20 years for me goes by in an absolute hurry in a blink of an eye. Great career, enjoyed every minute of it. When I retired from the Air Force, of course, I was looking for a job and went to work for the Boeing Rockwell Company at the time and worked on their programs for 21 years and retired from the Boeing Company in 2011. And then from there, I became a full-time volunteer. And of all the three jobs I've had in my lifetime, the Air Force, Boeing Company, and the volunteer jobs are just so much more rewarding. It's the best thing I've ever done in my life, reaching out, helping people, touching the human factor that I hadn't considered in the past. And it's just really been really rewarding. Of course, I'm full-time here at the Veterans Center of North Texas, a volunteer just like everybody here, and it is fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Not only for serving our country, but now also volunteering and helping other veterans. So talk to me a little bit as we're here today to know more about the Veterans Center of North Texas. What is y'all's mission there? What do you do to help other veterans out?
Well, thank you for that question. Veterans Center of North Texas was founded as a all-volunteer organization. We were incorporated as a nonprofit organization in 2016. Since that time, we have consistently maintained our ability to operate and be managed 100% by volunteers, which is a little bit unusual, not 100%, but a little bit unusual. And we have one thing that we strive to do, and that's to help our veterans and their families to establish, maintain productive lifestyles within our community. And we serve 10 communities, 10 counties, Collin, Grayson, Cook, Hunt, Fannin, Rockwall, Kaufman, Dallas, Tarrant, and Denton counties. So we have a broad outreach.
Yeah.
And our goal, being selfish, is we'd like to see each and every one of those veterans that live in the areas, whether they're having an issue or they're just wanting to come in and tell war stories, we are always here to help. And we see a tremendous amount of people, and it's just always rewarding to meet a veteran, talk about their background, and sometimes it's just an acquaintance, sometimes it's a major issue. But we're here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4:30. We are located in Plano, Texas, but we serve all those 10 counties. Our address is 900 East Park Boulevard. We are in Suite 170, Plano, Texas. And the reason we are in this particular office is the lowest rent that we can find. Since we don't generate revenue, we want to keep our overhead to the lowest possible, and we want to service as many veterans as we possibly can.
Awesome. Thank you. So Now, talk to me a little bit about what veterans who are in need, what needs are they able to go to for support and for help? I know you do a lot more than just maybe financial or placing them somewhere. I know there's a broad spectrum of what you're able to help veterans with.
So our concept of support may be a little different than some others. We do an intake with a veteran, so we try to get to know the veteran, everything they've done, where they currently are, and what their status in the community is. And our primary goal is to have that whole person concept. We want to understand what they need, what they think they need, and it doesn't stop there. We want to understand why they have that need. Let me explain a little bit about that.
Okay.
First, when someone walks in our door, there's two types of people. There's a person that's come by and seen our monument and wants to come in and say, "Hey, I was a veteran. Here's what I did," and share war stories. And we love to do that. And we say, "Well, what can we do to help you?" Nothing today. Okay. Here's a brochure. Here's our business card. Should you have an issue, or a veteran that has an issue, send them our way, because we are here for one reason only. That's to help our veterans and their families. But most often, someone walks in the door and they have a need. And as through the intake process, they establish what they believe their needs are. We will ask some probing questions, and sometimes those questions will lead to another need and another need, because sometimes uh, people aren't thinking quite straight, and especially if they're really in distress or have a concern. So we'll establish those needs, and sometimes we'll have to go back and revisit it because we'll discover additional things during the conversation. Then we try to ask the question, well, why do you need financial assistance, let's say? And they'll say, well, I lost my job, or uh, I've got some bad habits that I'm trying to break that have cost me some issues. Sometimes it's a family issue. Could be a car problem that they've had an unexpected expense and they were living right on the edge. And lo and behold, that has led to another issue, and we go forward. So one of the things that we'll do is we'll lay out a roadmap. We'll do a financial intake. We will get each of our veterans to a professional financial counselor, because unfortunately, most all of our things revolve around money in one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So financial counselor will provide advice to them. We'll develop a roadmap. Sometimes it's just seeing other people. Sometimes it's just social counseling, try to get connected to the community. And sometimes it is really hard things.
Yeah.
Well, often the people that we um, get engaged with are really behind on car payments and really behind on house and apartment rent and things like that. It's not uncommon for someone to come in here in tears, men or women, and they'll say, my utilities have been cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how long have they been cut off? Well, this is the third day and it's just a problem. And we don't have the money to get them turned back on. So we go through that process. The first thing we want to do is get those utilities turned back on, because living in an apartment or a house without utilities is a real problem.
Yeah.
So we'll pay that bill almost without even thinking. And then we'll dig deep into trying to find out what the root cause is, start working on those root causes. So Matt, kind of support the whole body principle.
Yeah.
We look at rent and or house payments, utilities, car payments, car repairs, transportation needs, food and clothing, legal issues, educational support, medical contacts, medical support, depends on where they are in the community, and it just goes on from there.
It just goes on. Awesome.
And
So
not everything is financial.
yeah.
There's a lot of things like, where's the VA? How do I get a hold of the VA? I'm retired from the Army. I want to talk to someone that's in the VFW, the American Legion, or whatever. Where can I go for that? Do you know any groups for me to join? I just miss that camaraderie of the military.
Mm-hmm.
So it's things like that, as well as the hard things of life skills and financial management. But that's kind of what we do.
Awesome. So let me ask you now. I know, as you're growing, you're talking to more veterans who are in need, things like that. During this whole COVID-19 pandemic, what are you seeing the most out there from people coming, that are more affected now, even during this pandemic?
Well, of course, we've seen, as you seen from the television on the radio, is a significant increase in unemployment. And getting a job today, right this moment, is tough. We think that's going to change as the economy and the environment changes, hopefully. So today we're seeing a problem with people that are not receiving unemployment for one reason or another, and it just happens. You hear a lot about the stimulus checks and that sort of thing. Some people haven't got them yet, and we're trying to help them move forward in that area and get unemployment if they're qualified for it. But rent payments and utility payments and car payments are a significant problem. So we're trying to get the help people out with rent. We this week, let's see, we just processed our fourth approval for rent payment today.
Wow.
Car payments, we paid two car bills this week. People are behind. For those people that are having an issue with rent and car payments, there's the word on the street is we don't have to do it because of the COVID. I can guarantee you somebody else is out there. They have to pay bills too. Sooner or later, you have to pay, and we're there to help today to make that happen. Getting a car repossessed is the wrong answer.
Yeah.
We go on the third month, on the first day of the third month, if you have a major car payment, that car gets repossessed. If that's the only way to get around here in Texas, you got a problem. So
Okay.
we've been helping with car payments and the rent payments and some house payments and some utility payments. We think it's just going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
One thing that's nice, Matt, I want to emphasize, we have through some grants, funds available, readily available for veterans and their families that meet all the criteria to help them if they've been impacted by COVID, to help them through this process. So they don't need to sit and struggle. Don't wring your hands. Come see us right away.
Yeah.
If we can't help you, we'll get you to some place that can help you. We want our veterans to be successful in our community.
Definitely. Now, let me ask you, because I have a lot of family in the military. I have a lot of friends that are, veterans in the military, clients. Um, Sometimes when we're talking to them, we don't know that they're struggling or anything like that. I mean, what can, like me or someone do who knows a veteran? Are there any signs that maybe we need to look for, or how we're able to maybe just have that conversation with them to get them to kind of break down that barrier to get them a little bit more used to saying, yes, I do need some help or something to that matter?
Well, we get criticized often here in our office. People say, how come you don't have testimonials on your website or Facebook page or whatever? It's because most people just don't want to admit they've had a problem and they want to get it behind them.
Yeah.
And so what you're describing is a very, very tough situation. If you know the people well and they happen to mention they've been to a food bank or they're getting support from various organizations, that's sort of an indication of a situation. Especially in conversation, they say, "Gee, I've been laid off. Well, do you need any help? Have you thought about asking for assistance?" Most people say, "No, I'm going to get through this," but the hole just gets deeper. It
Mhm.
just gets deep. We want to help people early on, help them out of that hole and get them stable. So if someone that that hasn't been living on the edge, hasn't been living on food stamps and food pantries, if they're doing that, let's see what we can do to help them out in the near term and hopefully in the long term, they'll return to normal and be as productive as anybody else.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. Now, let me ask you before we do wrap up and things like that, what can the public do? What can we do to help you, your organization, help other veterans and keep growing to where you're able to impact and help more people?
Great question, Matt. The number one topic I always have is if you are a veteran, if you know a veteran, please send him to the Veteran Center of North Texas. We are here to help. And it doesn't matter what type of discharge you've had. If you are an American veteran, we want to talk with you. We are ready to help you. So the number one thing our public can do, our citizenship can do, is refer veterans to us. There's always food drives going on. There's always donations and that sort of thing. We can support people and direct them to different agencies, but our goal is not asking for that kind of support. We want to serve veterans. Just send veterans to us.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I want to thank you very much for coming on today and just talking to, I hope, somebody's out there watching this that may be in need of help that, will reach out to you. Obviously, everything's confidential. I know that. And so, if you are in need of help, please go see the Veterans Center of North Texas. Amazing group of volunteers and veterans to help you. And like he said, if you know somebody, if you just know a veteran, I mean, one way that we may be able to just help is, hey guys, do you miss the camaraderie like you just mentioned? Hey, there's a great group of guys at the Veteran Center of North Texas. Why don't you just go in there and pop in and say hi and talk to them?
That'd be
Just
great.
that one little thing that makes a veteran aware of, say, hey, they're here. I'll have a conversation with them, and then that may help y'all really get to know them, like you said, and realize that they do need help and something like that. Kind of like a soft introduction instead of, them, knowing that they're in need of help. Because like you said, they want to get past it. They don't want to make it public. They don't want to
No.
tell anybody. They don't want to seek that. So if you are, guys, go out there and see this organization and group of veterans. They're there to help you in any way possible. And if they can't, they're going to direct you and guide you to the people who can.
Absolutely. Can I give the phone number out, please, Matt?
Yes, definitely. Let us know once again, phone number, address, any way that they can contact you.
Okay, so we are the Veterans Center of North Texas. We serve 10 counties. Our phone number is 214-600-2966. I'll repeat that again in a moment. We are located at 900 East Park Boulevard, Plano, Texas, suite number 170. And our email address is veterans@vicont. That's Victor Oscar November Victor Vicont .org. And our phone number again is 214-600-2966. And we look forward to hearing from and visiting with each and every veteran in our area.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Everybody, please share this video. I know we all know at least one veteran or active, military where this video could help them or somebody that they know. So please share this video and let's bring a little bit more awareness and help to our veterans and give them another resource to get that help. So thank you very much, Paul. I really appreciate you coming on. And if I can do anything else for y'all, please let us know and reach out anytime.
Matt, thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. You too.